On this edition of Alberta Dugout Stories, the podcast, we're back, and so is baseball on a variety of levels, including some local leagues. Welcome to episode 101 of Alberta Dugout Stories, the podcast. I'm Joe McFarland. We'd like to once again thank each and every one of you for your patience and understanding as we took a bit of a break on both the podcast and on the website. Ian took his family on a midsummer excursion, while I added to my family with the birth of Lachlan Connor on July 22nd. It has been wonderful getting to spend some uninterrupted time with my wife and new son, and now we're easing back into the old routines again. A lot has happened over the last couple of weeks. The MLB season got underway with some COVID-19 storylines surrounding Miami and St. Louis. We also had Calgary's Mike Soroka pick up where he left off with the Atlanta Braves, but unfortunately, as you are probably aware, the 23-year-old sophomore suffered a season-ending Achilles tendon injury trying to run over to cover first base. We wish Mike a speedy recovery and can't wait to see him come back stronger than ever in 2021. Another storyline we've been keeping an eye on is the return of baseball on Alberta's Diamonds. Whether it be the youngsters hitting the field to train or even a few leagues doing cohort games, it hasn't been a total ghost town on the field. One example of that has been the Foothills Major Baseball Association. The senior men's league serving the Calgary region kicked off its season in early July and is already closing in on its playoff schedule. Our own Ian Wilson was going through withdrawals of local baseball, so he and his family headed to Glen Hansen Park in late July to check out a game between the Longhorns and the Diamondbacks. Ian also did some double duty on the outing by chatting with board member and Wolfpack utility man Curtis Smith about the league and much more.
Curtis, welcome to the program.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So why don't we start a little bit just getting to know you a little bit and your journey in baseball. Tell us about your baseball background and just how you came to be with the FMBA.
Yeah, so started out Calgary Babe Ruth baseball, Calgary Babe Ruth Indians back in the early to mid 2000s. I was actually from there. I was actually part of the inaugural class of the Vauxhall Baseball Academy back in fall 2006, spring 2007 school year for my grade 12 year, and then from there playing under Les McTavish and Jim Kokas, and then from there translated the coaching I got there into a small scholarship down to Southwest Minnesota State University, where I played a couple of years before ultimately transferring to University of Nebraska Omaha to wrap up the college career, pitching down there. Finished my degree in kinesiology, and then about 2012 or 13, and then came back to Calgary to kind of settle down and come home and start working. Knew right away that as I was familiar with the league coming back because I'd spent the summer while I was in university. I'd spent a summer playing for a little bit with the Calgary Cardinals in the FNBA. So I had already been aware of the league's existence at the time when I knew I was coming back to Calgary. So right from day one, I knew that I was going to be coming back, hitting the workforce and playing ball in the summers with the FNBA. So that was 2014 would have been my first year, I think.
Give us a little bit of a Cole's notes on the league. I'm a little bit familiar with it. I'm sure some of our listeners are familiar with it as well. But just give us in a nutshell who plays in the league, how many teams, and it has a lengthy history as well. It dates back, I think, to the late 70s and early 80s.
Yeah, for sure. My understanding is that it's been around since 1979, playing games. I think we celebrated our 40th anniversary last summer as a league. It's essentially an 18-plus competitive senior men's baseball league. So it's really open to anybody in the greater Calgary area who doesn't find it too inconvenient to drive to the Northeast for ball games throughout the summer. We've got guys from, all walks of baseball life, really. There's, I'm sure you're familiar, but there's a couple of former pros, former Calgary Vipers like Joe Sargent and Brent Cooper, who've been, no strangers to the baseball scene locally for a long time here. former NCAA and junior college baseball players who are either in between school years or have returned home full time, to just local Calgary guys who are over the age of 18 and just grew up loving the game like the rest of us did, right? So it's kind of an open format league. We've got 11 teams. Normally, we had 11 teams last year, 10 teams this year. One of our teams took kind of opted out of the season just due to the pandemic and everything like that. So, but in a normal season, we have about 11 teams, and this year we've got 233 players on the 10 rosters that we've got. So averages out to about 23 guys per team. So it's been around a long time. It's gotten more and more competitive over the years, but it's a really high level of ball. It's good and competitive, and it gives a place to all the guys in the city and around the city that love the game of baseball and still want to play, maybe after the university days are done.
You touched on the pandemic. We've seen leagues from Little League all the way up to Major League Baseball right now struggling to get on the field and to make things happen. How is it that you've been able to navigate the pandemic and to this point, I believe, successfully pull off a baseball season in Alberta? Walk me through some of that.
Yeah, it wasn't easy. it was challenging for sure. Once we've got a couple of advantages, I think, when compared to other leagues across the province and Canada, in that we don't share a facility with any other organizations or leagues, which makes it easy to kind of control a lot of the variables. We've definitely broken the league down. It's the way the season's operated this year has looked drastically different than what it would normally look. But so far it's been pretty successful in allowing us to kind of have some semblance of baseball put together for the guys to kind of enjoy and take their minds off of things. We were in the process before we got word of the actual shutdown. We were in the process of kind of putting together contingency schedules and contingency plans for the possible case in which there were restrictions handed down from the government. So back in, I'd like to say February, maybe late January, our league executive had already started having those kinds of discussions. So when the shutdown kind of came around in March there, we had done a lot of homework that we put on the shelf because, the message that was passed down was no baseball, don't worry about it. And then when we got the news that recreational organized sports would be bumped up into phase 2, we were able to take some of that homework that we'd already done and build off of it with the restrictions that were handed down at the time during the phase 2 announcements in mind. And we were able to put together a little bit of kind of a quasi schedule with smaller divisions, breaking teams out into smaller divisions to limit how many different people they're crossing paths with. Some on-field changes as well, communal water tanks and sunflower seeds and stuff like that are a no-go, and we've added some washing stations and stuff to the field for the outhouses and stuff like that too. So lots of changes, but so far so good, and I think the guys have enjoyed getting outside and playing some ball for sure.
I assume that not traveling from city to city and not having overnight stays really helps. And you mentioned Glenn Hansen Field and not sharing it. For those of us who haven't necessarily been to that ballpark, I have checked it out. It's a great view of downtown Calgary. Maybe just describe what fans can expect if they want to go watch a baseball game.
Yeah, so we're the physical address we use for the field is 1401 25th Avenue Northeast. We're just behind the Unicon concrete building. If you kind of go down, there's a little dirt parking lot roadway, and you turn down there and you can't miss the field. It's as you mentioned, you've been there yourself. It's a gorgeous view of the downtown skyline. It's just on the top of the hill overlooking Deerfoot, and home plate faces out from the northeast towards the downtown core. So right over the outfield wall, you get a perfect look at the skyline. And on a clear day, I don't know if there's a better spot to watch a ball game in the city. So it's full size diamond. We've been playing our games there since 1985, I believe. It was actually put together. There was a bit of a kind of a lobbying of the senior men's circuit towards the city back in the late 70s, early 80s, right around the time that the league was just starting up. And through a lot of volunteerism and hard work from a lot of parties back then, we were able to erect the field and have it playable and have our own home diamond going into the season of 1985, I believe. And we were debt-free. Even after the construction of the field, we were able to open that season debt-free with our own home park. So, and it's been our home ever since.
From a fan experience, maybe talk to what people can expect. Obviously, you're not necessarily set up for what crowds you might see in the Western Canadian Baseball League or things like that. But are there operating concessions? Are there washrooms? Is there a functioning scoreboard, announcements, anything like that? Or is it a little more stripped down?
It's a little bit more stripped down for now. There are definitely plans. We fundraise pretty aggressively through our own league fees and stuff like that. We've got some projects on our to-do list. There are functioning. We've got porta potties on site with a full hand washing station right next to it. There is a small press box building behind the backstop, behind home plate, that will set up a concession stand within for special events. Like our annual, under normal circumstances, in a non-pandemic year, we have an all-star game towards the end of the regular season. We have a league home run derby, usually towards the middle or end of July, kind of after the Stampede. And then the Calgary Longhorns in our league host a tournament every July as well. And for those kind of more special occasions, we'll have full concession, but not typically just for regular season games. There is bleacher seating. Wooden bleacher seating is set up at the field for, I don't know, you could probably 300-400 people. It's extremely rare that they're ever full, but it's a lot of family and friends, wives and girlfriends, kids coming out to watch dad or brother or son play ball. In a lot of cases, the players that are playing in this league have been playing for most of their life, and their families. Over time you become a baseball family more or less, right? So it's something for parents to continue watching their grown kids play ball on a nice day outside, stuff like that. So,
our fans, I assume, then they're able to bring their own kind of snacks, beverages, that kind of thing.
Yeah, 100%. You'll see everything from small George Foremans out there cooking hot dogs to coolers rolling in. It's 100% free. Fans are able to just walk into the Diamond and take in a ball game on a day that they feel like they're available to go and take one in. Our season typically runs early May to about Labor Day. Weather permitting, rainouts permitting. And that field usually has a ball game going on it every day from May through early September, except for long weekends. It's the only blackout dates that we carry as a league. So there's almost always baseball going on up there for those who are interested in taking it in.
Have you noticed a few more fans kind of making their way there? I noticed the notable hockey celebrity Peter Labardius had wandered over and checked out a game or two there. Have you noticed an uptick in people just hungry for baseball and wanting to watch a decent level of play?
We have for sure. Particularly the last couple of years, and we're not sure yet if it's kind of a league growth, organic growth type deal, or if it's a league visibility deal through social media and our league website and stuff like that. But there seem to be a few more fans than for sure than my first few years in the league back in 2014-15. There's been a noticeable uptick in non-player interest in the games and stuff, so which is promising, and it makes it fun for the players too, right? When there's a little bit more atmosphere that they're playing these games into. So
you mentioned Joe Sargent being one of the players in the league. Of course, he's been on the podcast before. He's familiar to baseball fans here as a former Calgary Viper and a pitching coach with the Okotoks Dogs. I noticed a few more names in the kind of leaderboards on the website. Brendan Rose, Ty Scott, Tony Olson. The last name Lawson, of course, is familiar to baseball fans in this neck of the woods.
Absolutely.
I assume there's some guys who would normally be playing WCBL and things like that in the league. Maybe break down some of the rosters and the caliber of player that people can see as well.
There definitely has been an influx of talent, particularly from leagues like the WCBL, and then in some cases the Sunburst League out of Red Deer and Edmonton and stuff. I think for this particular year, it's more a byproduct of those leagues not having been able to fire up yet, or in some cases at all. So baseball talent is the guys who want to play are going to find places and find ways to play the game, right? So, but like you said, we got legacy players like Trent Lawson and Corey Lawson, who are sons of the late great Jim Lawson, who's been part of the sport of baseball in this city for ages. There's Brendan Rose. Russell Strilchek is another local guy who's a product of the Okotoks Junior Dogs Academy, who had been playing for the Medicine Hat Mavericks in the WCBL up until this summer. Lots of local Calgary Babe Ruth products. The Okotoks Junior Dogs Academy has had a pretty steep influx of players into our league the last few years. Lots of Vauxhall Jets, former Vauxhall Jets as well. Jordan Wong, Mark Clausen, guys that grew up in Calgary, went down to Vauxhall, who got a springboard to their careers from going to that academy, and then have since returned home and stuff. So a lot of these ball players have seen elite level high school baseball all the way up to NCAA Division I. Several of them have been former draft picks into Major League Baseball organizations, and whether it be through injury or other circumstance, they've ended up returning home and still want to play the game and play it at a high level. And the league, I find that the league's drastically improved in terms of depth of talent and parity across the league as well, particularly over the last few years that I've been in the league. So I can only imagine how it would look now compared to back in the days of the 90s or early 2000s, right?
What does it mean to you at this time, just when it's so hard to find baseball, and we're seeing it even at the major league level where it's pretty tenuous whether that season is going to finish? What does it mean to you to personally get on the field on a regular basis, and also just to see the league kind of going forward this summer? I assume it's kind of taken on a bit of extra special meaning this year.
For sure. As a self-diagnosed baseball junkie, it's nice to just have the game be around again. And I'm sure most of the guys in the league would express the same sentiments. There's a bit of an escapism to it when you're able to kind of get into the dugout, and even more so when you're crossing the chalk line, getting onto the field, right? It's a 2.5 hour period where you're focusing on nothing but the game, and whatever else is going on seems to just take a back seat. So in a time like this, it can be a little bit relieving for some guys, I'm sure. I know it gives me something to look forward to on the evenings and weekends. That next ball game rolling around is fun to look forward to. Like I said, it's a really competitive league, so most of the guys in this league are itching at a chance to go out there and scrape and claw for that next W with their guys, right? So there's a huge camaraderie across the league as well, which makes it extra special. It's great playing baseball and stuff, but it's a whole nother, like I mentioned, the 233 guys that we have on rosters across the league. That's 233 guys that you wouldn't typically normally see. A couple of them are close friends off the field and stuff, but for a lot of us, that going to the diamond is the only time you get to see some of those guys, because you're either living in totally opposite parts of town or whatever the case is. So it's nice to get the baseball network in the city back together, because it's, as you and Joe probably know, baseball's not a very big network in and around the area. It's definitely growing, but for a long time it's been a pretty small but tight-knit community. So it's nice when you're able to get back out there with the rest of the guys.
Looking ahead and looking forward, we're moving into August here. How much runway do you have left on the season, and are there any important dates or playoff dates looming? What can we look forward to over the next month or so?
Yeah, we've got. I want to say we're about at the halfway point of the scheduled regular season. I would, off the top of my head, I'd say we have maybe 15 or 20 games left or so across all teams' remaining schedule. Barring future rainouts, we've got games going right through August 15th. And like I said earlier, that's pretty much every night at the Diamond. So, which includes 4 games on Saturdays and 4 games on Sundays. So we'll probably have 15 or 20 games left of the regular season or so. And then at that point, part of our discussion early on, given the circumstances of this particular year, I believe we're going to be waiting for word to come down for either a move into Phase 3, or, given recent news and recent trends in terms of numbers and stuff, we might be going the wrong direction for that. But it would require a move into Phase 3 for us to really cross over from these divisions we've broken into, and allow for a true playoff that would crown a champion at the end of a playoff for 2020. There will be some interdivision playoffs where teams are still not crossing out of that cohort division following the regular season, but that may not be enough to really determine a true champion. But there should still be games, some postseason play within the divisions for at least a couple of weeks after that August 15th regular season finale. So I'd imagine we're going to be playing right through the month of August at least, and then hopefully if we get some good news from AHS, we might be able to actually cross over and have a full championship series to cap it all off for the year.
Curtis, if people want to find out more about the league and schedule, stats, season leaders, things like that, where can they find you online and on social media if you're on there?
Yeah, we've got our league home base. Our league website is fmba.ca, and we're also pretty active on Twitter. Our Twitter handle for the league is @fmba_YYC. We've got regular games recaps and scores that we tweet out, as well as player highlights and stuff for some of the bigger performances. But the whole schedule is up on our website, fmba.ca. We've got player statistics, as well as some weekly recaps and stuff that they can go and find there.
Curtis, thanks so much for joining us on the podcast, and all the best with the rest of the season. I hope it's a successful conclusion to the season, and hope everyone enjoys themselves playing ball and more importantly stays healthy doing so.
You betcha. We do as well. Appreciate you having me on.
Thanks again to Curtis Smith for joining us to talk a bit about the Foothills Major Baseball Association, and a big thanks to Ian Wilson for the great interview, and thanks to all of you for downloading and listening. If you haven't already, make sure to leave us a rating and review wherever you check us out. Those actions help spread the word about what we're up to. Until next time, thank you so much again for all of your support, no matter the platform, of Alberta Dugout Stories.